Okay.
Oh no, that's the mall. Okay. Thank you. But mine says 8:44 a.m.
Dion, is it showing for you?
We'll refresh.
Are you on the school's Wi-Fi?
However, you want to do that. Let's go.
Yep. It's showing. Thank you, Rodrigo. Okay. You want me to send you the link?
I just reminded them for this one person.
Okay.
Yeah. Do you want us to keep the laptop up? No. So that it doesn't interfere with
You want this door closed and this one open? So that people won't walk through your,
Yeah, it'd be better.
yeah, that would be better. Morning. Please sign in. There's a sign in right. Yes, thank you. Appreciate it.
So, good morning. We do have to sign that sheet, so.
Okay, no, that's fine.
No, that's fine. I completely forgot about it.
No, it's.
Does it matter?
It goes to her workshop. He will be here the whole time. But he's like at like 45 minutes.
Yeah. And then this is for other basics for them.
Okay. We have some coffee, some water, some pastries.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Really?
Then,
I'll take a Danish. Did you get yours already? Not yet, not yet. It's, we were going to English. I'll try. I'm just gonna be reading out the slides. I don't know that well yet.
That's okay. I just.
Oh, okay. If you leave me, let me know. People are gonna be coming from here.
Our daughter graduated from middle son, he graduated college already. This one, the second one is in college.
Yes, ma'am. Yeah.
Hi, good morning. Yes, come in.
Just go ahead and sign in.
Wait, I might have something on it.
This is just the sign.
All set.
You got all this, ma'am.
Good morning, welcome.
Good morning.
Welcome.
Thank you. I can take any seat. Any seat. No, that's fine.
Make sure he gets her.
Get what? Oh.
No. You go inside now.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Oh, please.
Oh, both,
Yeah.
we can do both, yes.
Do I need to fill out address?
No, no, just your name so I can. That's a great inside name. We're trying. Just check if there's no one else, maybe we can get started.
No, it's like a full.
Okay, good morning, thank you for coming today. On behalf of the principal, Mrs. Daniels, I'd like to welcome you to California Elementary School. My name is Amaris Cabrera, I'm the community school liaison here at California, and we're excited to have Learn Basic Tech, going through some basic tech. We hope you enjoy it, and I'll let them introduce themselves. So we hope you enjoy this session.
So, me llamo Juan,
My name is Rodrigo.
so, gracias por estar aquí. Nosotros somos LearnBasicTech, somos parte de un programa que se llama The Meet the Divide, un iniciativo desde el condado de Los Ángeles, departamento de los servicios internos. Nosotros proporcionamos entrenamiento en persona y en línea, y tenemos una meta que queremos alcanzar y queremos entrenar 7,500 personas en el condado de Los Ángeles. Gracias por estar aquí y me da alegre que quieren saber más sobre la ciberseguridad y la tecnología.
Welcome everyone. Our class is called Learn Basic Tech. We are a program from the Los Angeles County People Services Department, so we're from the county. We're really glad to see you here and see everyone here. Excited to learn a little bit about cybersecurity and basic technology skills. We have a goal of reaching 7,500 people trained, so we're glad to see it. Oh, and one thing, we are live streaming, so say hi to the live stream. We have some people that are watching virtually, so that's just letting everyone know that we are live streaming this.
Algo también que quiero mencionar que estamos en vivo, hay unas personas que están con nosotros a través digitalmente. Solamente quiero anunciar eso.
So, one question we get is this class for experts? Right, the answer is no. LearnBasicTech. LearnBasicTech is for everyone. So, no matter what question you have, no matter if there's no such thing as a wrong question, right? If you ask this question, it's very probable that someone next to you has the same question. So that's why we encourage communication, we encourage any questions, anything you want to know, we're here to answer.
So, este caso no es para expertos, son para los principiantes. Si tienen una pregunta, por favor no le da pena, pregúntalos, aquí no estamos para ayudar.
So what are we going to go over? So this is, before we start, this is a 4-part class, right? We are going to be here today, on Thursday, and then next week, Tuesday and Thursday as well. So we'll be covering several different topics throughout these 4 days. Topics we'll be covering in no particular order are computer basics, app basics, internet basics, smartphone basics, cybersecurity basics, and then how to navigate websites.
So like if you miss a class, do you do it online? Is it okay?
Yes. So great question. So since we are live streaming and we'll be live streaming the 4 days, right? If you can't make it on Thursday or wherever, you can do it online and it'll count. And we'll show how to actually sign up for the other days.
La pregunta era si pueden completar las horas en línea y si sería posible. Y este entrenamiento va a ser 4 días. Vamos a cubrir los básicos de computación, ciberseguridad que vamos a hacer hoy, fundamentos del internet, básicos de los teléfonos inteligentes, básicos de las aplicaciones y navegando en nuestra página.
So with that being said, let's begin.
Que vamos a comenzar.
So the first thing we're going to cover today is cybersecurity. So can I ask the audience, what do you think of when I say cybersecurity?
Les queremos preguntar qué piensan cuando hoy escuchan la palabra o el término ciberseguridad.
Security on the internet, right?
La seguridad en línea.
What about protecting our bank accounts?
¿Qué tal la protección de nuestras cuentas de banco?
All our data, right? All our data in all our devices.
Los datos que están dentro de nuestros dispositivos.
What about protecting our photos?
¿Qué tal nuestras fotos que tenemos en el teléfono?
Okay, so our definition of cybersecurity is actually the practice of protecting computer systems, networks, and data from unauthorized access, attacks, and damage to ensure the confidentiality, integrity, and availability of information. Okay, that's a lot of words. So in short, cybersecurity is protecting our computer systems, and computer systems does not just mean our laptops or desktop computers, it also means our phones. Right? Our phones are also computers. So we want to protect our phones as well from unauthorized access. That means people getting into our phones, getting into our accounts, and stealing our data. Right? Attacks and damage. So that's, in short, cybersecurity is protecting our computer systems and our phones from hackers.
How do hackers even know how to do that unless they know this?
Great question. Great question. So, how do hackers even know how to hack, right? How to get into phones, right? The answer is cybersecurity is a very complex topic that can we can talk about cybersecurity for weeks, right? So this is a kind of an introductory in how to protect ourselves. The reason why hackers get into our phones is because of, one of the reasons could be because of our fault. Because we fall victim for scams or for social engineering, and we'll cover that later in the topic. But a big factor of cybersecurity is ourselves.
So it's not as complex as I thought, it was just being women.
A lot of it is us being vulnerable.
So, la pregunta era, ¿cómo saben los hackeadores cómo hackean el sistema? Y más veces que no, la culpa cae en nosotros. Nosotros podemos ser culpables y caernos en un atento de fraude o un hackeo. So, vamos a aprender sobre los diferentes temas y cómo podemos protegernos contra esas amenazas. So, ¿qué es la ciberseguridad? Ciberseguridad es la protección de información, sistemas y redes contra los accesos no autorizados, los daños, y para mantener integridad, disponibilidad y la seguridad de la información. Okay. So, con la información no solamente que es algo que se encuentra en las computadoras, es algo que se encuentra en nuestros teléfonos. Tenemos cuentas en línea de bancos, aplicaciones, contactos. Hay muchas cosas que tenemos a mantener protegido y seguro. So, no solamente algo que tenemos que proteger que es parte de una computadora, también es algo que tenemos en línea que serían las cuentas y mucho más.
So why is cybersecurity important? So we said a little bit already, to protect our bank accounts, to protect our photos, right? But also things like our online reputation, right? Who here has a social media, any social media? That's Facebook, X, TikTok, okay? And we have our social media and our online reputation with it. What happens if someone hacks into our account and then starts scamming our friends? Right? They might not know that it's us. They might think or they might not know that we were hacked. They might think it was us, and then that affects our online reputation. Some other things are privacy protection, which we talked about, identity protection, which is very important. Right, it also has to do with like protecting our social security numbers, protecting our bank account numbers, and lastly, legal consequences. So having being hacked can also bring legal consequences in case someone posts something illegal under our name, our account. It can also affect the same things on their reputation. So just a few reasons why it's important.
¿Por qué es importante la ciberseguridad para prevenir el robo de identidad? Hoy en día tenemos muchas cuentas en línea y tenemos información de nosotros en esas cuentas. Puede ser de nombre, números sociales, ¿qué más? Direcciones, número de teléfono. Hay mucha información que tenemos en línea y necesitamos proteger esas cuentas para que no caigamos en consecuencias legales. Alguien puede hacer cosas bajo de nuestro nombre y esas cosas pueden ser ilegales. Algo más, la reputación en línea. Si alguien hackea nuestra cuenta, pueden comenzar a hacer cosas en nuestra cuenta en las redes sociales como Facebook, Instagram y mucho más. Algo más sería que tenemos que proteger la identidad o ajustar la privacidad en esas cuentas. muchas cuentas tenemos el poder de ajustar cómo estamos compartiendo los datos a esas cuentas y qué estamos compartiendo, ¿ok?
Before we get into some tips for cybersecurity, it's important to understand a digital footprint. What is a digital footprint? A digital footprint is a trail of data that you leave behind whenever you use the internet. Okay, so no matter what you do on the internet, you will leave a digital footprint. That's just how the internet works. For example, if you go to a website, that website has information that you went to the website on this device, on this day, at this time, you clicked on this and this and this, right? And there's nothing you can do to eliminate our digital footprint, but there is ways we can reduce it. And that, we will go ahead and see some tips in the next slides.
So, un término importante es el rastro digital. Un rastro digital es la información que dejamos en línea. Puede ser algo que compramos, una publicación, un comentario. So, cada cosa que hacemos, estamos dejando un rastro digital, que sería la información que dejamos en línea. Okay.
And before we go on to our tips for online security, there's something to understand about privacy and ease of use. Okay? There's always going to be a balance between how private you want your online life to be and how easy you want your online life to be. What do I mean by that? So there's for example, things like virtual assistants, right? And virtual assistants help us in our everyday life. They're very easy to use. What I mean by that is things like Hey Siri, OK Google, Alexa, right? Those are digital assistants. And they make life very easy, right? Because let's say you're driving and you want to navigate to the nearest Starbucks. Say, hey Siri, navigate me to the Starbucks, and it does it. However, there's always a privacy concern, right? Because to be able to listen to your Hey Siri, it needs to listen constantly. So that's something that some people don't want to deal with. That's something that people don't mind dealing with. There's always going to be a balance, a sliding scale between privacy and ease of use. One more example is social media, right? Social media is very great. We can connect with friends, we can connect with family all over the world. But with social media, you also give up some privacy because you're posting pictures of yourself online, right? So there's always a sliding scale of how much you want to post, if you want to post at all. You can't get the best of both worlds. Any questions?
Okay, consejos para la seguridad en línea. So, algo que mencionó mi compañero es que tenemos un ejemplo es tenemos asistentes virtuales en nuestro teléfono como Siri y el Google. Y si tenemos activado esos asistentes virtuales, pueden estar escuchando nuestra conversación porque ellos están esperando a escuchar un comando, una tarea. Algo más, los redes sociales que tenemos, estamos publicando fotos y esas fotos van a estar en línea y esas fotos pueden estar compartidas con otra gente que no conocemos. Ahí se puede guardar o capturar esa publicación que tenemos o que hacemos. So vamos a ver los diferentes consejos para evitar los robos de integridad y si alguien alcanza de compartir cosas que no queremos que ellos compartan.
So our first tip of the day is to limit the personal information that we share online. Right? Avoid sharing too much about yourself online because the more you share, the easier for someone to misuse that information. So what do I mean by this? I don't mean go home and close all your social media accounts and never look at the internet again, right? That's not what this is saying. This is saying, make sure you're careful with what information you're posting. A common example we give when we give this class is, let's say there's someone that goes on vacation. So they go to Hawaii or whatever. And they're in Hawaii and they start posting pictures of themselves online, like, oh, I'm so glad to be in Hawaii, or they start posting pictures of their vacation, right? What happens if someone is looking at that account and they see that you're not at home? That's pretty much an invitation for them to break in, right? That, of course, that's kind of an extreme example if someone is actively stalking your account. But there's a lot of other things that can be dangerous, right? So let's say I take a picture of my little brother, Fernando, and I say, happy birthday, Fernando, he turned 12 this year, right? With that, just with that picture, they have a picture of my brother Fernando. They know his first and last name. They know his date of birth, which would be March 17, 2014. Yeah. Right? They know his date of birth. They know what he looks like, his full name, just with one post. Okay, so just be careful what you're sharing. So I'm not saying to not share anything at all, but be careful with what you're sharing. And the more you share, the easier it is for someone to misuse information. Any questions? And I don't want to scare anyone, so this is just a precaution.
So hay que, algo importante es limitar la información que publicamos o estamos compartiendo en nuestras cuentas. Podemos estar compartiendo con personas desconocidas, con nuestras amistades o familiares. Y un ejemplo que dio mi compañero es que si estamos en vacaciones en Hawaii o Miami, lo que sea, y publicamos una historia, estamos diciendo que no estamos en nuestra casa. Si alguien quiere atentar a meter a nuestra casa y robarnos, pueden saber que no estamos en la casa y pueden atentar algo así. Algo más que compartió, si como foto de mi hermanito pequeño y digo, oh, feliz cumpleaños Fernando. Las personas que no conocemos pueden saber que su nombre, fecha de nacimiento y cómo se parece mi hermanito. Es decir, que hay que tener cuidado cómo estamos compartiendo las publicaciones, si es con personas desconocidas o sus familiares o amistades sería mejor. Porque si alguien desconocida comienza a ver nuestro perfil y a grabar información, pueden hacer eso y hacer cosas maliciosas. ¿Okay? ¿Algunas preguntas antes que seguimos? Sí.
Eso como que ya lo conocimos, ya como tratar de porque ahí dentro todo pudieron explicar, pero ya ahora si ya están redes, eso puede ser uno. Ya después se conoció como poner privada las cuentas, pero pues ya estuvo por un tiempo ya expuesta.
Sí, buena pregunta. Pues no podemos cambiar el pasado, ¿verdad? Pero podemos seguir adelante con nuevos, cosas para practicar mejor seguridad. Como usted mencionó, podemos cambiar el perfil a privado en lugar de público, o a lo mejor a amistad solamente con sus amistades o personas que conocen.
Well, that's a great question. Thank you. The question was, what if in the past I already posted a lot of these things? What can I do? Right, that's already been there for quite a bit of time. Unfortunately, as we'll learn later, there's nothing we can do to fix the past, we can start changing the future from today. So we can do things like make our profile private. We can do things like, or maybe just friends only. Right, so there's not much we can do for our mistakes in the past, but we can always start today, and that's what we're here.
Is it truly private if you keep your stuff private? Like for family and friends to see only, or just family or yourself?
Good question. Anything you post will be shared with the group that you're sharing it with. For example, just family. There's two things. There's two exceptions. Number one is that the platform will always like have a copy of that. So let's say I post a picture, even if I share it with no one. Let's just say Facebook. Facebook will have a copy of that, no matter what it is. So that's just something we have to deal with. The second thing is, let's say I share it with a family member, and that family member downloads it and then shares it on his profile, and then that's public. In that case, it's like I'm sharing it with the world. Even though I didn't share it with the world, I shared it with my friend, and my friend reshared it with all of his profile. So that's another thing. Those are the two exceptions. Another question?
Eso también puede afectar para un trabajo, ¿verdad? En el futuro, si como a mí me afectó como para un trabajo, empezaron a chequear y como él dijo ahorita que un amigo comparte y lo miras que según como yo falté a un trabajo y mi amigo lo compartió que estuve en una fiesta ese día que tenía yo que ir a trabajar, chequearon en el sistema que estaba yo en una fiesta y no estaba yo haciendo lo que me tuviera que estar. Eso afecta también en eso también.
Sí, cierto.
Y te puede llevar en problemas.
Sí. The thing when you mentioned is that sometimes, you know, people could look at what we post and it could affect our job, right? So say we call off, right? And then they go through our profile and see where we're actually at. If someone like our friend posts that we're at a party or something,
Family
like that,
member,
we could fall into problems, stuff like that. Y para traducir lo que preguntó la señora es, si publicamos algo en nuestro perfil, aunque está privado, puede ser que es público, y puede ser que sí, porque las plataformas, un ejemplo de Facebook, puede guardar una copia de lo que publicamos. También alguien como una amistad puede compartir o descargar lo que publicamos y publicarlo aparte del perfil de la persona. Y nuestra amistad, pues, digamos que tiene su perfil público, lo que está compartiendo que nosotros pensamos que era privado, pero ya está público aparte de nuestra amistad, pues.
Sí. Entonces no se puede hacer mucho porque ya los amigos como dicen ya tienen también como público, van a entrar varios.
Sí, ahí pues no tenemos control, pues lo que tenemos pues el poder de cambiar nuestro perfil y cómo estamos compartiendo la información, pero de otra gente no tenemos mucho control, ¿verdad?
So, in that case that you were talking about, we don't have much control over what our friend does or what our family members do. If they share it, if they download it and they share it with everyone, there's not much we can do with that. We just have to be careful about what we post. And that brings me to the next slide, which is think before posting, right? We were talking about this. Ask yourself if you're okay with everyone seeing what you're about to post, because once it's out, you can't take it back. So this goes for both things that are embarrassing or are perhaps against the platform guidelines, or maybe even illegal, right? We don't want to post anything illegal, even if we delete it. So I have this short story about a previous a previous student that was a mom, and she was, her son was being cyberbullied, right? And the cyberbully would send him messages that were very mean, very bad, and would delete them. And then they would be deleted, so there was no evidence, right? So the mom eventually went to the police to handle everything because it was getting out of hand. What ended up happening is the police went to Facebook, because it was a messenger, right? They went to Facebook and they asked for all of the chat logs, all the chats that they were sending. And guess what? Even though the cyberbullying was deleting the chat, Facebook always holds a copy of anything that goes onto their profile. So Facebook was more than glad to give the evidence to the police, and in that way they had a case so that they can work on it. Right? So just that's one thing about thinking before posting. Just because you delete it doesn't mean it's deleted. And one more thing, it can be less serious than that. Let's say I accidentally post something in the heat of the moment, something that's offensive or something like that. And one of my friends or colleagues or coworkers see that, and they take what's called a screenshot. Right? If they take a screenshot of my post and then I delete it, that screenshot is evidence that I posted that, and then that could be incriminating. A lot of famous people have said things. People have taken screenshots, a picture of the post, and then they deleted it. So we know that it's still. We have evidence that they did delete it, or they did post that. So always be careful with what we post, because once it's out, you can't delete it. Any questions?
Piensa antes de publicar, ya cuando publicamos algo, la compañía o la plataforma pueden guardar una copia de lo que publicamos, puede ser una foto, un posteo, un comentario, y aunque elaboramos, ellos mantienen una copia. Una historia que compartió es que habló con una señora y esa señora le dijo una historia de que su hijo estaba víctima de los acosos cibernéticos y la persona que le estaba dando, pues, haciendo acosos a su hijo, borró los mensajes, pero como utilizó el mensajería de Facebook, Facebook guardó las copias, ¿okay? Y la mamá fue a la policía, hizo un reporte y la policía investigaron la situación, y como Facebook guardó copias de los mensajes, ellos podían compartirlos con la policía, y hicieron esa investigación y pues cayó en problemas la persona que le estaba dando acosos a su hijo. So, es decir que aunque pensamos que borramos algo y ya no va a quedar en línea, todavía quedan copias en las plataformas. ¿Alguna pregunta o dudas?
I think they were charged. It was a minor case,
Oh,
so it was also not not jail time or anything.
But they were able to.
Yes, it's incriminating. It was a very interesting story when I heard it. Sí, al final de la historia no fue como de cárcel ni nada, porque era caso del menor, pero sí pudo agregar la evidencia para poder hacer el caso.
Call us later, it's probably a full part of it.
Socialize safely. Be careful who you chat with and what you share on social media, because not everyone has good intentions. When I mean socialize safely, I mean that on the internet, anyone can say that they are someone else, right? Anyone can say that they are Exactly. So on the internet, anyone can be someone else, right? They don't have to be themselves. They can pretend to be a representative from some company. They can pretend to be. There's a lot of scams where people pretend to be friends, or they're going back and forth in love scams. And what happens at the end is that they ask for money, and after, first of all, they build that trust between weeks and weeks and months of communication. And then when they ask for money, the person falling for the scam doesn't even register that it's a scam because of the trust they built, right? The fact of the matter is that people doing scams like this do it as a full-time job. And they're probably messaging like 50 people at the same time. So just socialize safely. I like to think personally, if I don't know the person face to face, I won't trust that person 100%. No matter how much they communicate with me or anything like that, if I don't know the person face to face, I'll always be skeptical of anything they say.
What do you do if, like, your nephew, 7-year-old, is like, on Roblox, passing his password to them, because his parents aren't around to monitor that situation?
Yeah, that's tough. So we're, especially with online games, and then especially with the young ones, right? We also need to monitor who they're socializing with, because they might not, they probably don't have the best intentions for our children. In that case, the most I can say is Roblox has, for specifically Roblox, they have parental controls where you can just turn off chat completely, so that the child can't chat with anyone, no matter who.
What if the kid gets his password around, or if he's on Roblox? That's a problem, right?
It is, yes. Because like any password shouldn't be passed around. In that case, I would change the password myself and then maybe like put it onto his phone instead of giving the password to him. I don't know if he'll be able to change that password. You can probably change the email that it's at, so it's at your email instead of his email, so that you can choose the password. I would do things like that. So, if the password's already out, first order of business is change the password, and that goes for any account. Let's say someone hacked into our account, onto our account. If we change the password, that kicks them out of the account.
If he keeps on giving his password again, and then he goes tantrums, how do you, can't really complicate him?
Yeah, I think that's above what I can say. I don't have experience in that. Sorry about that.
What was the question?
What if the kid keeps sharing the password and throws tantrums and things like that?
So a friend of mine, her son is on Roblox, and what she does is she hosts the credentials, so he has to come to her anytime he wants to make a purchase, anytime he wants to do something with other people on the game. And so, again, the control is ultimately up to the parental figure. In most situations like that, Roblox does separate the age platforms. That's why they ask people what's their age when filling out the beginning information, because like Instagram and Facebook and most social medias now are moving to separating adults and children in these virtual spaces.
What if he keeps on changing the password, and then
He wouldn't have access to change the password.
as long as the parent to his friends, he gives the passwords to his friends, like online, and then when his parents don't let him play, then he gives them a tantrum. How do you handle that kind of kid?
Well, he shouldn't be able to give his password if he doesn't have it.
So you're saying, no, but when he goes onto Roblox, doesn't he have to log in?
Yeah, you have to log in, but that doesn't share your credentials with anybody.
So like because we noticed that when he's in school, there's like 5 other kids logged into his account, or I don't know, 9 other people has access to his password. How is that possible?
That means that someone shared the password before, so ultimately you would just reset the password, and then it would kick, like Rodrigo said, it would reset everybody out.
And so he doesn't need the password to get into his account, because he keeps on saying, I need the password to get into the account.
Yeah, initially you would need the password to get in, and so once you have that in, you would sign out after each use.
Okay, and then when he plays, he would have to log into that password.
Correct.
Okay, but if he gives his password all to random people.
You shouldn't give out, he shouldn't give out his password. He shouldn't have his password to give out as a child.
Oh, so you, the parent, have to log in.
Correct.
And log out, and don't let him do the login.
Correct.
Thank you. Para traducir, so la pregunta en breve era si tenemos hijos y están en las plataformas de videojuegos como el Roblox y están compartiendo contraseña, como un padre, el mejor consejo sería que usted tiene control con la contraseña, so no la va a compartir con su hijo o hija, y usted va a administrar esa cuenta y solo pues ingresar la contraseña cuando es necesario, porque puede ser que su hijo o hija está compartiendo la contraseña con sus amistades y ahí puede pues estar hackeado la cuenta. Entonces mejor a tener control para todas las contraseñas y dar permisos cuando es necesario. Okay. So aquí socializar seguramente es muy importante de con quién estamos hablando en línea. Cualquier persona en el internet puede hacer pasar como una pues personaje o amistad o familiar. So hay que tener cuidado con las personas que nos da una solicitud de amistad, porque si no las conocemos, ¿por qué la vamos a agregar como amigo? ¿Verdad? También pueden hacer cuentas utilizando nombres de nuestros familiares, amigos, o pues personas que conocemos. So, hay que asegurar, confirmar con con las personas que conoce y a ver si creamos una nueva cuenta. Algo así me pasó cuando mi amigo, pues alguien creó una cuenta haciéndose pasar con mi amigo. Y recibí una solicitud de amistad y le pregunté a mi amigo si él creó una nueva cuenta y dijo que no. So, entonces bloqueé esa cuenta y lo reporté porque era pues algo fraude, un intento de fraude. So, en casos así puede reportar las cuentas o bloquearlos y así que no pueden, la persona que están haciendo esas cosas no pueden seguir haciéndolos. ¿Okay? ¿Alguna pregunta o duda? Sí.
Cuando se reporta, ¿qué hacen con eso?
Sí, buena pregunta. So, la plataforma como Facebook van a investigar y si hay pues, si hay razón para bloquear o remover a esa persona, lo van a hacer. Si no encuentran nada malicioso, no van a hacer nada, pero si encuentran algo malicioso, como si la persona se está haciendo pasar como alguien que conocemos, ahí pueden pues remover la cuenta y bloquear a la persona para prevenir que crean nuevas cuentas.
Pero si esa persona ya no usa su cuenta y hace otra, ¿hacen algo? ¿Si se dan cuenta que es el mismo?
Pueden bloquear el correo electrónico. Hay también en dirección de su internet, pues. Así que no, si intentan de crear una nueva cuenta usando el mismo internet, no van a poder. So, así es para prevenir que crean más cuentas.
Yo tenía una persona que cada semana se cambiaba el feed, se cambiaba el nombre, no sé. Ya de una forma rara, pero ya es mejor ni. Yo no hablo nada que no conozca, pero digo, pues qué así, que no, apenas bloqueé uno, ya por otra forma empiezan. grupo,
Sí.
quieren estar agregando si el niño me conoce.
Sí. Esos pueden ser los, ¿cómo se llaman? Bots, que pues, aunque no usted la conoce, están agarrando nombres, consiguiendo nombres y creando en esos grupos, a que no la conoce a la persona, porque son computadoras que pues están grabando información y buscan en las plataformas de redes sociales como WhatsApp, Facebook, y pues crean esos grupos. Y para el intento de robar información o hackear a las personas.
Escuché, por ejemplo, cuando entra una llamada de spam, que no la de uno, que la dejen no sonar, porque están viendo como una computadora,
Sí.
viendo qué cuenta está elegible, pues ya les contesto o le pegan, ya saben que son activas, entonces ya les comparten información que no la dejen uno, que no existe esa línea o algo así.
Sí.
¿Verdad?
Sí, eso sería bueno si recibe una llamada de un número desconocido, es mejor no contestar y dejar que llegue hasta su buzón de voz. Porque si contesta y comienza a hablar, pueden grabar su voz para crear una copia de su voz utilizando la inteligencia artificial. Y también, como mencionó, puede decir, oh, esta línea está activa, vamos a seguir hablándole, enviándole mensajes de estafas y todo eso. So, es mejor si no conoce el número que le deja llegar a su buzón de voz. Y si es importante, van a dejar un mensaje. Si no es importante, no van a dejar nada.
Apologies for that. Two things that were said were, one, we have to be careful for scams that make it, look like it's a friend that's adding us again, or even someone we know, and it has, like, we make a new account, and it has their name, their picture, their profile, and it looks very real. And then they add us, right? It happened to one of his friends, made a new account and then added him. So he asked his friend, hey, did you make a new account? And he said, no, that was a fraudulent fake account. And you should do in that case is report it. What happens when it's reported is that if the platform, say Facebook, finds that it's malicious or it goes against the terms of service or anything like that, they'll delete it, and they can possibly block any new accounts from that internet location. Something else that was said was that in the case of scam calls, right? I used to get a lot of scam calls myself. What we do is we need to not answer. So if you ever see like a scam call that can be a scam call, or that you think is a scam call, let's say it's an unknown number, it's best to not answer it. There's two reasons for that. First reason is that when you don't answer a scam call, you're letting know the scam system that maybe this number is inactive or that you're not going to answer. So they won't waste their time and resources calling you. So that's one thing the reason that you shouldn't call or you shouldn't answer. The second reason is because with the ease of use of artificial intelligence, it might be possible for them to record your voice and then use that voice to scam loved ones, use that artificial intelligence to scam loved ones to be able to scam them and make it appear that you're the one calling.
Does it sound like, can they
It's very
get your
convincing.
voice? Like,
The more you talk on with the scam call, the more information they have to record, and the longer the more information they have, the better the voice will sound. It's very convincing. We'll have a little bit more about that near the end of that. One of the easiest things we can do to secure our devices from hacking is update our devices. So always update devices and software. What I mean by software is apps. Okay, so your phone, always update your phone and always update your apps. Keep your devices and applications updated to guard against new threats and vulnerabilities. As time goes on, your phone gets less and less secure. Your apps get less and less secure because new threats are always being found. So hackers are always looking for new ways to enter into your phone and steal your information. The way we protect against that is with updates. So you can think of updates like, if you think back in the pandemic a few years ago with coronavirus, we had the coronavirus vaccine, and then every few months or every year or so, they would bring up an update to that vaccine so that we can be updated with the latest, against the latest threats. Right, same thing here. Another thing I like to say is imagine a house, right? A nice house and it has a lot of windows, and it's secure. As time goes on, those windows eventually break. And if you keep the windows broken, then anyone can just enter through that broken window and steal your stuff. Right? What we do to the broken windows is we patch them up with wooden nails so that anyone that enters, they can't enter because it's patched up. Same thing here. The longer we go without updating our devices, the more windows are broken and the easier it is for someone to enter and steal our information. In short, we want to, anytime that it tells us to update, we want it to be updated. Even though an update might change the way an app or the phone looks, feels, that is less important than updating and being the most secure we can be. Any questions?
Are you completely not protected if you don't update?
If you don't update, the chance of you getting like hacked or a hacker being able to enter your phone goes from very low and it very quickly goes very high. So you're not 100% safe if you don't update.
But if you do, you're 100% safe?
Great question. There is nothing 100% in this world. So the most safe you can be is if you update your devices regularly.
You have a better chance to be protected if you update.
Exactly. Going back to the house analogy, our phones have like 1 billion windows, and it's very hard for the developers of the phone, so Apple or Google, to patch all like 1 billion windows. There might be a few windows that are open that so that someone can jump through if they find them. But it's better to have 1 or 2 windows open from 1 billion than to have 500,000 open because we didn't update our devices. So there's always a risk with using technology. There's nothing we can get past that. But when we update our devices, we ensure we have the highest chance of being protected against threats than if we don't update at all.
By updating, does it delete anything? Like the pictures or,
Great question. It does not. The only way you would delete your photos or like any apps and things like that is if you actually delete them, or if you do, let's say, a factory reset. What that is you're pretty much wiping your phone so that it's like you just got it from the factory.
You can't do that only, like,
No.
you cannot do that
You have to like go through like 15 menus.
in order to do it. Oh,
Anyway,
good.
so
So
it's,
that would be to delete my photo when I
no. Updating, they make it very easy for you to update. because they want you to update, because they want your phone to be the most protected it can be. They make it very hard to factory reset so you don't do it by accident. Great question. Thank you. So update your devices as much as you can.
Ok. Les quiero preguntar si ustedes actualizan sus dispositivos. ¿No?
A veces se actualizan solos, ¿no?
Sí, con las actualizaciones, eso puede pasar en el fondo automáticamente. Y es algo muy importante para mantener la seguridad porque las actualizaciones nos ayuda a protegernos contra las nuevas vulnerabilidades. Si usted no actualiza sus teléfonos y un hackeador puede obtener acceso, hay más posibilidad que un hackeador puede obtener acceso. Con las actualizaciones ayuda a prevenir eso. Okay. Eso puede ser sus dispositivos, sus aplicaciones o programas que se actualizan y es algo para mantener la seguridad de un dispositivo o programa. Una analogía es como la coronavirus, ¿ok? Dieron una vacuna y ya después en tiempo dieron otra vacuna para mantener más protección contra el virus. Es algo así con las actualizaciones. Los nuevas actualizaciones nos ayuda a mantener la seguridad y protección. Si dejamos de actualizar nuestro dispositivo, vamos a estar hay más vulnerabilidad. Es decir, si reciben una notificación que hay una nueva actualización, es muy importante que comience a actualizar su dispositivo.
Como, una pregunta. ¿Es verdad que a veces los hackeadores pueden, como con los aparatos esos de limpieza, los pueden hackear para estar grabando o cosas así?
Puede ser el caso, ¿verdad? Entonces, como algo que no dijimos en español es que no hay nada tecnológicamente que es 100% seguro. Siempre hay una chance que algo sea hackeado, especialmente si está conectado al internet. Si está conectado al internet y a lo mejor el robot de limpieza no se ha actualizado, podría ser que esté vulnerable.
Mejor no me dejó comprar una porque no, más es cámara.
No, sí puede pasar, ¿verdad? No hay nada 100%, no le quiero decir que nunca va a pasar, porque eso no es verdad. Siempre hay la posibilidad que pase. Entonces, especialmente todos los dispositivos que se puedan conectar al internet, hay que actualizarlos. Es decir, las teles, si tiene refrigerador inteligente, si tiene lavadora inteligente, todos ocupan actualización. Gracias, señora. Something that I didn't mention is that this goes for all your devices as well, so not just our phones and our laptops or desktops or tablets or anything. Anything that connects to the internet needs to be updated as well, if it can. That means smart TVs. That means smart refrigerators if you have. Smart washing machines. All these smart devices, we have like a smart home system, like a personal assistant, like an Alexa or anything like that, Google Home. Those also need updates. So anything that connects to the internet should be updated.
Es también decir que cualquier cosa que está conectado al internet, un refrigerador inteligente, una Alexa, cualquier dispositivo que está conectado al internet se necesita actualizar.
How are we feeling? We need a question break, maybe 5 minutes.
¿Estamos bien? Necesito un descanso, 5 minutos. ¿No?
So we have 1 hour or so. Vamos one's very easy, but very hard to follow. Don't share your credentials. So we were coming back to that. If we can avoid sharing our credentials, don't do it. But we like to do it with things like our streaming services, right? We like to share streaming service passwords. They're cracking down on it, but especially in the past, we like to share Netflix passwords, Disney Plus, Hulu, Apple TV, whatever it is. Try not to share it, right? Especially if, let's say, there's a friend that wants to share it, wants to get your password, and he's messaging you online, right? You want to be careful of that as well, because why? Because that can be an impersonator trying to make it seem like it's your friend or someone that you know, but in fact, it's a scammer getting your passwords, right? So avoid sharing passwords at all if you can. If you cannot, make sure the password is different from your other passwords, and I would say never share a password online. So if someone asks you the password online, I would say don't share it. Like if you know the person and you can go to the person, you can verify that's that person, and you can give them the password. But really avoid sharing any passwords ever.
Is it the same thing through text?
It can be. It's a little different because you can't really fake a phone number, right? So like let's say Juan, I have his phone number, and he texts me that he wants password to something. I can verify that it's his phone number because I know it or it's in my contact list. So it's a little harder to fake that. I would still say to avoid, right? Because there are other ways that text can be intercepted, which is on our next slide, and that's what we're talking about. But text is a little better than like Facebook or Instagram. Yes.
Now, on the text, sometimes they have the name. Like, for example, last year I received the Kaiser.
Okay.
They say Kaiser, but they're not really Kaiser. Yeah.
How do you know which one is phishing and which one is real, the real company from, any communication types?
Good question. And I want to hold on to that question since we have a section that we want to go through. Exactly that. So, and that goes to your question as well. How can we know if the person that's messaging us is actually like the company, or if we get a call from a company? How do we know if that's the correct, like if it's official? And we do have a section on that later, and we'll get to that.
So, algo sencillo pero importante es no compartas tus credenciales. A veces estamos compartiendo la contraseña para Netflix o Hulu o lo que sea, pero es mejor evitar eso y no compartir ninguna contraseña. Le preguntó la muchacha sobre los textos si es seguro. Un ejemplo, si tenemos el número de alguien, va a estar en nuestro contacto. Nadie más puede tener ese número de teléfono. So, ahí estamos seguros que la persona que nos está pidiendo la contraseña es la persona que conocemos. Si es a través de las redes sociales, puede ser que alguien creó un perfil fraudulente y pues ahí podemos caer en esa estafa y perder acceso o perder el control de esa cuenta y nos puede hackear. Vamos también a identificar más adelante los diferentes maneras que utilizan los delincuentes para engañar a las personas.
Really quickly, I just remembered another story that another student told us was that she had it was a student, and then she had a sister, and the sister had a child. And the student's sister messaged her saying, by email, saying that, my daughter's birthday is coming up. Could you give me some money and gift cards to buy something? Right, but it was from that person's email, from her sister's real email. So she almost went through with it to the scam. What ended up happening is that she called her sister, and her sister's email account was actually hacked. So it was, even though it was coming from her official email, her real email, it wasn't the same person because the email account was hacked. So we just need to be very careful with, even if it's like something we know, like a text message or an email address, that's like, we know that is the right email address. We just want to be extra careful.
How do they get into the hack of the sister's account?
So it could have been something like the sister clicked on a link, and it looked like a real website to sign in, but that website was a fake website, and she pretty much gave her password by accident to some hackers. That's like a phishing website, and again we'll get to that. So una historia rapidito era que yo me acuerdo que tenía un estudiante que su hermana le pidió tarjetas de regalo por email, y el correo electrónico fue exactamente correcto, no era nada, pero era un ataque fraudulento porque alguien se metió a la cuenta de la hermana para poder pedirle a las personas por dinero. Vamos a hablar más sobre eso después.
Okay.
Yes.
Como hay caso, bueno, yo tenía un caso creo que era el Telegram o el era una foto del oriental como bien fotográfico, ay, bien acá, dice Noro, pero esa foto la agarraron para muchas cosas, tenía muchos perfiles de nombres, esa chica foto, para hacer como muchas cuentas, ¿verdad? Como a veces que, mira, pues es una muchacha, pues sabe, luego es un hiking, entonces me son aquí, voy a saludar, pero no sabe uno que ya empiezan a ser otras personas o incluso pues hasta los niños pueden pues es un niñito y no es una niñita, es un señor de no sé por qué esas cuentas como las permiten o no sé por qué.
No se permite. Eso no se permite. Y eso es un caso de socializar seguramente. Si ven cosas así que obvio es un fraude, que la misma foto con muchos perfiles, hay que reportarlos. Y con reportarlos, cualquier plataforma nos va a quitar y va a prevenir que haga más. So if you ever see any account that's obviously fraudulent, like let's say there's a lot of accounts and they're all using the same picture as their profile, just report it, and the platform will just take care of making sure that that account is deleted and that the person is banned from making new accounts. So reporting is always an option. Let's switch gears a little bit and talk about encryption. So encryption is the process of converting information or data into a code to prevent unauthorized access for people to the information. In short, it's making sure that people that are not authorized to view the information do not view it. I want to explain a little bit more after we play the short video.
So vamos a comenzar a hablar del cifrado o encriptación. Y lo que es pues convertir información a un código seguro que nomás las personas autorizadas pueden leer. So, es algo que no se puede interceptar y pues grabar porque es cifrado. Okay? So, vamos a ver un breve video sobre el cifrado.
What is encryption? This video will define encryption, outline how encryption works, talk about encrypting data at rest and data in transit. You've probably seen the statement, conversations are encrypted end to end when using some messaging services. But what exactly does encryption mean? Encryption is a way to conceal information so that it appears to be random data unless it is decrypted back to the original version. This is done by scrambling the data into a code, usually through a mathematical function. Then to unscramble the data, a key is used. With encryption, even if an unauthorized individual accessed your data, they wouldn't be able to understand it without the key. Using the instant messaging scenario, encryption means that no one, including the service provider, can read the messages you send and receive from the people you communicate with, because the data is scrambled, except when you or the recipient reads it. In your workplace, encryption is
Okay, so that video was a little fast, but what I wanted to get out of this video is that encryption is something that we can use to prevent unauthorized parties or third parties from eavesdropping on our conversations. So I like this diagram a lot. What this is let's say in a texting scenario, right? Assuming that our texts are encrypted, we talked about how to see that. But assuming that our texts are encrypted, let's say Juan sends me hello on an encrypted channel. Okay, what happens is that as soon as a message leaves his phone, it's locked and scrambled, so that if there's any hackers eavesdropping on our conversation, they don't see what he's saying. What they see is this random numbers and letters. Okay? So anyone that tries to eavesdrop on the conversation sees these random numbers and letters up until it gets to my phone. And on my phone, when I receive the message, it's unlocked, and then I can see that he said hello. So that's the way encryption works. Only the person that is sending the message and receiving the message can actually see the message, right? Anyone else that's trying to eavesdrop cannot see the message.
Is encryption something that I directly do, or is it something that I have access to?
Good question. So when we see this, right, I mentioned that if we are using an encrypted chat, how do I know if we're using an encrypted chat? So there are some apps that are encrypted by default. Has anyone heard of WhatsApp? WhatsApp. So WhatsApp is encrypted by default, right? I don't know if you've ever seen at the top of the chat, this chat is encrypted end to end. Right? That's what that means. That means that anyone that's trying to eavesdrop on the conversation cannot. All they see is random jumble.
How can anyone try to eavesdrop on a conversation?
The way the internet works is that as soon as the path that the information needs to get from one's phone to mine, it goes through a lot of, it's called servers, and anyone that is let's say on the same network or running one of those servers could potentially like, save a copy of that. But whenever they do save a copy of that, this is all they'll save. So it won't save, the actual, so to answer your question, it's a little out of the scope of the presentation. But
So
what
it's-
happens is that when the information travels, as the information is traveling from Khan's phone to mine, there are several places in that process where someone can possibly take the information that's
So we have social engineers and cyber criminals who this is their profession, is they mirror other devices so they can see or intercept the information that is coming through that device. The name of the game is how much information can they collect? And so if they can collect your conversation, if they can collect your online history or your footprint, if they can collect, your address information, that's what they try to collect. That's why your bank, your doctor, your job, they all have firewalls or things to protect and encrypt your information so that it doesn't get leaked to the public unintentionally. Encrypting is something that happens in the background and you're using it almost every day.
There you go.
And you're using it almost every day. You personally don't deal with encryption. It happens in the background. If you have an iPhone, your phone is encrypted already, okay? If you're using most Mac devices, those devices are encrypted. How many of you have Apple Wallet or Google Wallet, where you're using a digital form of payment? Those are encrypted forms of payment, so that you can securely make a payment at a POS system without risking your information getting out. Because again, you have scammers and hackers who have created devices that they can put on top of card readers at gas stations and various other places. And so encryption is a way to keep yourself protected from any outside source that you don't know is interfering with your information.
But you yourself cannot encrypt your own device.
You can if you have the know-how and you are that advanced in coding. If that makes sense. No, this is basic. This is basic. Remember, we're teaching the basics on what is encryption. So encryption basically is like a puzzle. It's scrambled. Have you ever done a crossword puzzle? So when your information goes out, it looks like a crossword puzzle. And until the person has the key information, they can't figure out that puzzle unless they have that encryption key. And that's what the video shows.
So, like, say, for instance, like some of my friends have, like on Messenger, it just says encryption.
That means that somebody that's not in that chat specifically, that's meant to be in there, cannot see that message.
So it means,
So we don't have it like on our phones, a setting, like say Android, I have Android, we don't have a setting where we could like click, okay, encrypt my messages or whatever.
I can answer that. So on Android, that is actually, has been rolling out on the newer Androids. I have an Android phone. I don't know if whenever you texted someone, you saw what's called RCS message.
Oh, yes.
If you know,
Yeah, yeah.
if you've ever seen that on your phone, all RCS messages are encrypted. So in that case,
Is there a way of us putting that, if they don't all go through RCS in our settings, are we able to like set that?
The only way RCS wouldn't be enabled is if you're texting an older phone that does not.
So it's
support-
automatic.
Yeah, it's
So,
automatic.
so yeah, earlier he spoke about updating, keeping your devices updated. This is one of the reasons why. It's because if you don't keep it updated, you may have not gotten that encryption patch. And so, that's another way to keep those.
Okay, so, la encriptación, so, como mencionó Rodrigo, hay muchas aplicaciones que utilizan el cifrado. Uno popular es el WhatsApp. También si tiene un iPhone sería el iMessage. La encriptación nos ayuda a mantener las conversaciones o llamadas privados, así que nadie puede interceptar el mensaje o llamada. También otro ejemplo, si yo le envío un mensaje a Rodrigo a través de WhatsApp o iMessage, el mensaje, el momento que sale de mi teléfono y se comienza a enviar, va a estar cifrado. So, lo que va a aparecer si alguien intenta de interceptar ese mensaje, van a encontrar algo así, algo que no pueden a leer o pues a grabar. Y hasta que llega al teléfono de Rodrigo, van a poder leer, Rodrigo va a poder leer el mensaje. So, es algo que pasa en el fondo, no tenemos que hacer nada para pues, activar. Las aplicaciones ya vienen activadas con estas maneras de seguridad. So, no es algo que necesitamos hacer porque es algo avanzado. Si ve a la parte superior del WhatsApp, van a ver el candado y ahí dice que el mensaje está cifrado. So, si ven algo así, pues ahí van a saber que el mensaje está protegido y seguro. Así que nadie puede interceptar el mensaje o llamada y grabar su conversación. ¿Alguna pregunta o duda?
I just looked it up on ChatGPT. There is a setting in Android that you can turn on your messages, the RCS chat. So you can go into your profile and set the RCS chat, and that will actually change your messages into the RCS. Yeah. So, and I can
Algo
give
también
it-
que se me olvidó mencionar es los Androids tienen una nueva función que se llama el RCS Chat. So, lo que es encriptación. Si actualizan sus teléfonos, van a tener la posibilidad de activar esa función y se hace a través de su perfil y las conversaciones que tienen con sus pues, contactos van a estar cifrados y actualizan y activan esa función de encriptación.
The reason why we bring up encryption is because we use it every day without realizing, but we need to make sure that we use it before doing anything like an online purchase or logging into a bank or anything like that. So what this is called, it's called HTTPS. It stands for Hypertext Transfer Protocol Secure. The important part here is the S, right? So if you leave with one thing today, the S stands for secure. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and zoom in. And this is an example of a website that uses HTTPS. So how do we know it uses HTTPS? Well, first of all, it says so right here, right? It says HTTPS right here. Yes. On some browsers, it might have the lock here. On some browsers, it might say secure. But on every browser, you can check to see if it has the HTTPS. Okay. Let's look at an example without it. So do we see HTTPS here? No, right? It just says HTTP without the S. That means that this website is not secure. What does that mean? That means that we need to avoid inputting our password anywhere on the site. We need to avoid putting in our credit card information. We need to avoid putting in bank information. Why? Because any hacker can intercept this information as it goes from your computer to the website, and they'll be able to capture that information, capture your password, capture your credit card information. How do we know that it's not secure? Because it doesn't have the S, right? Exactly. So it doesn't have the S. Sometimes your browser will give you a warning, right? Sometimes it says not secure, but the way we can verify is if it does not have the S.
Can a hacker potentially create something that does have HTTPS and still retain your information?
What a hacker can do is create a website that looks similar to the real one, they can put HTTPS on it.
They can?
They can on their illegitimate website,
Okay.
but it will not have like you won't be able to see that it's not the same website because of the name. So every website needs a specific unique name. So just as an example, let's say a hacker makes a website that looks exactly like the Amazon website. What you need to do is you need to look at, okay, they can put the S on there, sure, but we need to make sure that what it says is actually Amazon.com.
Like Amazon on Amazon?
Yes. Or like Amazon with a 0.
Can they put it close to like double A's and put it?
Yes.
And it still would be like, it wouldn't say like, hey, this is too close to Amazon. You know, kind
No,
of like
there's
it
no
does with our
way like
password.
that.
No.
No,
You gotta be really careful.
exactly.
Can you see that page, the secure one?
Want to like zoom in or?
Oh, the other page. Yeah, the green one. Yeah, that one.
Yes.
Besides HTTPS, is there another secure site, or is that just the basic secure site for web browsing? Because, you know, there is DuckDuckGo, there is Google, so they're all separate sites, but what secures it all? Is that HTTPS that secures it all?
So that's two things
Okay,
kind of
sorry.
mixed up, right? For websites, you will only ever see HTTPS or HTTP.
Got you. It's
Right.
like like the www dot, in a sense?
Kind of,
Okay.
right? But that's, you want to
Yeah.
say?
So HTTPS, so that everybody understands, is Hypertext Transfer Protocol. That is your web address initial form of being sent through. It's like a phone number. So it's going to be identical for every legitimate website domain, okay? If you get an HTTP, you did not type that in. You clicked on something that was
Link.
not- Huh?
It's like a link.
Yeah, you clicked on a link. So if you try to go into your web browser and type something that's not HTTPS, it's gonna tell you, you can't go there, okay? But if you get a link, you may get directed to a site that's not protected. And so what we say is best practice, slow down. Don't click everything you see. Make sure you hover before you click, okay? Does everybody know what hovering is? You do?
Yeah,
Right.
just put your mouse over and then.
Putting your mouse over it, and when you're on your phone, you just hold and press down before you release, and it'll show you the actual website link, the HTTPS, okay? If you see in that actual web address that is not HTTPS, don't go to the site. Plain and simple, okay? That way you don't put yourself at risk. Just like you said earlier, if you see a scam call, don't pick up the phone, because you don't put yourself at risk, okay? The only way you can get to that site is if you click something too fast, and now you're redirected there.
Gotcha.
Okay, because the internet basically has governances, and those governances already try to protect you from doing things like typing it in yourself. Okay, any questions?
If you already
If
So we just.
If you've already clicked on it, can anybody tell her what to do next?
Delete it.
Get out of it.
Get out of it, close it. You
Close
always
the
have that
browser.
close window option.
Your catch.
That will still keep you safe, right? If you, yeah.
Yeah, that's the best thing you can do at that moment.
Are there jobs to prevent that from happening? To not create, like, you know, banks, websites, I mean, do people do that? Do people work on stuff like that, or?
Yes, so cybersecurity is a very good field. There's a lot of cybersecurity jobs to prevent things like this.
I mean, like, if I was like certified for my job, for instance, like, we just go click crazy, like, oh, this is interesting, and find something totally, you know, like a scam, and just, you know, they get taken advantage of, and he doesn't even know it.
I guess,
Sorry, what?
Sorry. When are you vulnerable? When you get an email and you click click on it and it has a whole bunch of different links. When are you vulnerable? Are you the most vulnerable when you click on a link and you type in like personal information like your password account, or just by clicking on the link you get like just for clicking on the link, when you get an email, or is it when you click on the link that in that email that says type in your information?
Good question. And going back, like, say 20 years, it would have been dangerous to just open it. It's a good thing that just opening it nowadays is not as dangerous as it was 20 years ago, right? So your question, when, are you vulnerable with just clicking the link? Or do you actually have to do something, or put in your password, right? It could be either, right? If you accidentally click the link, and nothing happens, then you got lucky. And then you can close the website and just move on. There can be websites that would like automatically download something and you don't even notice it. Like download malware, it downloads a virus to your computer and you don't even notice that it downloaded something. So that can be a possibility. It could just be possible that it links you to a website that looks like your bank account, right? But it's not. And then when you enter your password to log in, all it does is it collects your password. So that can also be a thing. So it depends. The safest thing is to just try not to click on it on the first thing. The first thing, just don't click on it. So, but once you do, it could depend, right? It might download something, it might not download something and just have you put something in, your password. It depends.
I don't know if it's a question, I guess, but like in a statement in a sense, but like, so, what you explained, going back to this, if we're protected and we're saying we're only on sites of HTTPS, you're more than likely not to be able to get hacked. But let's just say you would have a VPN, does that always direct your traffic to those sites? And that gives you a cushion of protection? So back to, I guess, in a sense, how would you prevent from, in other words, getting your traffic to those sites?
Okay, good question. A VPN in short doesn't do that,
Okay.
but it can be, usually VPNs are bundled with a lot of other security protection software that prevents you from going into known malicious sites. So if you do have your VPN on and you have a subscription and you go to a website that they think is malicious, it'll stop you. So that, it depends on the VPN and it depends on what plan you have. Maybe your, if you do have a VPN, your plan doesn't have that, or your plan does include that. It all depends.
Thank you.
You have to look at your provider.
What's a VPN?
Great question. Hold on a second. We have a slide. Sorry, Juan.
Okay, so aquí tenemos algo que se llama HTTPS, es un protocolo que significa protocolo de transferencia de hipertexto seguro. Y lo que es cifra la información que ponemos en una página. Un ejemplo, si estamos haciendo compras, si estamos aplicando a un programa o servicios sociales, esto nos ayuda a asegurar y cifrar la información que estamos compartiendo. So, si han visto un candado así, o a lo mejor un S a la par de HTTP, es decir que la página está seguro y cifrado. Okay. Cuando encontramos una página que no está seguro, no van a encontrar el candado ni el S. Okay. So es mejor evitar de compartir información sensible como su número de tarjeta, nombre, número social, porque esos páginas que no tienen el candado no están seguros. Algo más, cualquier persona puede crear una página fraudulenta y también utilizar el HTTPS. So, hay que tener cuidado con las páginas que hacemos clic porque a veces pueden ser algo similar. Un ejemplo es Amazon. Si un hackeador crea una página, pero en lugar de escribirlo correctamente, utilizan un 0 en lugar del O, pueden crear una página que tiene HTTPS y esa página va a ser fraudulenta. Se va a parecer similar como en Amazon, pero como si no damos cuenta que no está escribido bien, vamos a estar compartiendo información sensible a ese hackeador. So, si se encuentra una página que no está seguro, es mejor salir de esa página y cerrar la ventanita. Y siempre es para estar seguro que está escribido bien en dirección de la página y que tiene el S a la par de P o el candado. ¿Alguna pregunta sobre lo que hablé del tema o no? Okay.
So what is a VPN? This one, we were just about to get to that. Okay. So VPN, it stands for Virtual Private Network. That's what the VPN stands for. And it's a technology that creates a secure and encrypted connection over the internet. The reason why you would want a VPN is twofold. So there's two reasons why you would want a VPN. One is that if you're worried about your security on public networks. Okay, so what's a public network? A public network is a Wi-Fi network that does not need a password. So who of us have Wi-Fi at home? Okay. And to connect to that Wi-Fi, you need a password, right? It can be that you never changed it, it can be at the back of your ladder, but it's still a password. Okay, now who of us has gone to a public library? A library or McDonald's Wi-Fi or Starbucks Wi-Fi, right? And you don't need a password to connect to that. So that's what we call public Wi-Fi. And it's dangerous to do personal sensitive stuff on public Wi-Fi. What I mean by sensitive is logging on to bank accounts, doing online shopping, right? Wherever you give your personal information, like your credit card information or accounts to do to answer your bank account, or like I wouldn't do my taxes in public Wi-Fi. The reason for that is because information can be intercepted on public Wi-Fi by a malicious person that's on the Wi-Fi. So let's say Juan is doing his taxes at the library, and I'm a malicious person, and I'm sitting at my computer. I'm not even suspicious, and I'm seeing whatever he's doing on his computer. So I can collect his social security number, his account numbers, things like that. Why? Because he's on public Wi-Fi, and I can view with the right tools. I can view what he's doing on the public Wi-Fi, unless he's using a VPN. So that's where the VPN comes in. If he's doing a VPN, then it doesn't matter if he's on public Wi-Fi, because he is protected by an encrypted connection over the internet. So I can't see what he's doing because he's using an encrypted connection. The other reason why you would want a VPN is because you can change your location to be in any other location. So let's say, a common example is, let's say Netflix has a movie in Italy that is not available in the United States. What I would do is I would turn my VPN on, and then in the VPN settings, I can connect to Italy, and it looks like my computer is in Italy.
You can do that on any device, or?
Yes, so any VPN would have like a mobile app, an app for your tablet, on your laptop, on pretty much on any device.
Is it same security is the paying VPN and free VPN?
Good question, good question. I would avoid free VPN because nothing in life is free, right? What you're doing is disgusting. But what you're doing with the free VPN is you're trusting people with your information. And they make it free because they want that information. Okay. So what they're gonna do is they're gonna take the information and then sell it to advertisers and who knows what other people. So it's not actually free, you're paying with your data. But I mean, your data is, they will keep track of any website you visit, any information you input, things like that. So I would stay away from free VPN because that kind of defeats the purpose. Another question, I'm gonna go on, right? Another question we get is which VPN is the best, or which would you recommend? We don't recommend any VPN. We just use this video to demonstrate what it is. But every VPN is different. And what I want to, if you are interested in purchasing a VPN, something easy to do is you go to Google and you can say, top 10 VPNs. And then you get a bunch of different VPN services, right? So each one is different, each one offers different services for different prices. So if you're interested in a VPN, I would ask you to do your research. One other thing, before I answer your question, one other thing is, do I need a VPN at all? Like if you're on your phone or you're using a hotspot and you're giving hotspot Wi-Fi to your laptop and you're working on your laptop through the hotspot, then you don't have to worry about being on public Wi-Fi at all. Right? Because you're not on public Wi-Fi, you're using your mobile data. And if you're ever using your mobile data, then you're automatically secure compared to using public Wi-Fi. So if you just want to avoid VPN and avoid any of these privacy things, just use your mobile data. Your mobile data will be more secure than the public Wi-Fi will ever be. Any question?
Is VPN the same thing as a personal server? Or is that something different? Because I hear my kids talk about how he's telling his friends to play it on his server, personal server. That's something different.
That's something different. That has to do, I'm assuming Minecraft is one of the things that comes up. Or some Roblox, yeah, no, Roblox, that's something way different. That has nothing to do with it. Any other questions? I hope I explained that well enough. Yes?
Is that similar to sharing or accessing, connecting online through their Wi-Fi? Is it similar, or that those two different things, like when you share information and you're on public Wi-Fi?
Can you repeat that?
Yeah, I'm trying to be a little more clear on that, but when you share information online, let's say from a public library, and you access their Wi-Fi, do you have the same risks? Is that when you need the VPN, or like in terms of sharing information?
Good question. So if you are on public Wi-Fi, like the library Wi-Fi, then I would recommend a VPN if you're going to do sensitive like documents or enter your bank account or things like that. If you're on your private home Wi-Fi, then you don't have to worry about VPN. Thank you. Hope I answered it.
So, with public libraries, their computers, I mean, do they offer like VPN on their own computers, not like I take my own laptop to the library use Wi-Fi? Do their computers, do you know, they do VPN?
I don't think they can because they're locked down. So I don't think you can, if let's say you have a VPN subscription and you want to use a VPN on their computers, I don't think you can. You would have to bring your own device to be able to use the VPN on your own device.
So libraries already don't already have that protection, like for people's sensitive information when their public computers are used?
Yeah, no, they don't have.
So I have a question to that. I know that Word, if we don't have VPN, Word exposed, but let's say I am sharing the documents, they're not sensitive to me, but is that other person exposed? Am I exposing them?
Well, I mean, yes, that'd be like,
Okay.
that'd be like,
So it's
let's
just-
say, Juan gives me, let's say Juan gives me.
Maybe I send you Juan's phone number to another person, and Juan didn't want to share that number, but now Juan's number's exposed?
Right,
Got you,
yes,
Driver's license, any.
got you,
Unless you have a big team,
unless
Right.
you have a VPN.
got
with your
you.
own computer.
So you're just not exposed, the other person you're talking to is also exposed?
Yes.
Got it, okay.
Again, all this can be avoided if you don't use public Wi-Fi. So
Yeah.
you can use your mobile data, that's automatically more secure than public
So
Wi-Fi.
you just take the Wi-Fi off then?
Yes,
Okay.
then you can.
No
use
wonder
the
my
Wi-Fi.
bill's so high now. I'm always using my data.
Right. So yeah, that's what, in short, that's what a VPN is. And let's just watch this video and then have fun translate. And then I think we can call it there. And again, I just want to preface, this is a video for ExpressVPN, but we don't sponsor them. It's just a nice video. Every VPN has a different features, different pricing, so please do your research.
Online and get full access to worldwide content. That's what the VPN. Here's how it works. VPN stands for Virtual Private.
I'm so sorry. This is, okay.
There's a simple way to protect your privacy online.
Yeah, okay.
There's a simple way to protect your privacy online and get full access to worldwide content. That's with a VPN. Here's how it works. VPN stands for Virtual Private Network. ExpressVPN is a VPN provider with servers in more than 160 locations around the world. When you connect to the internet with ExpressVPN, you can encrypt your online activity and make yourself appear to be in any of these locations. This means you can use popular apps and services that are censored where you are, or overcome restrictions set by your school or office Wi-Fi network. Media and shopping for good deals. With a VPN, your internet traffic travels through a secure tunnel, which keeps your online activity private. This means your personal information and communications are protected, including on unsecured public Wi-Fi networks. It's easy to use too. Simply download the ExpressVPN app onto your router, tablet, computer, or phone. Then turn the VPN on and select your preferred location. That's all there is to it. Join the millions around the world who are taking control of their online lives.
Any last questions before we translate?
Do we need it or no? We don't need it.
I would say it would be recommended if you travel a lot. So that's one of the, use cases of a VPN. Let's say you're always traveling, you're always on airport Wi-Fi, hotel Wi-Fi, restaurant Wi-Fi, and like you need the Wi-Fi to do your business. Then I would recommend a VPN. Other than that, there's very limited use cases. Like I said, you can just use your mobile data, and that would be a lot more secure than using public Wi-Fi.
No, es una app o cómo es.
Es una aplicación y es una suscripción. So se paga mensual o anualmente. It's usually a monthly or annual subscription, and it's an app that you can download on your phone or your laptop or whatever.
So, un red privada virtual, un VPN, nos ayuda a crear túnel cifrado de nuestra
Good
actividad
morning, staff
en
and
línea.
students. As we head into lunchtime, due to the
So,
excessive heat,
tenemos
we are going
muchos
to
diferentes
use
programas
an
que
indoor
pueden
lunch
rebuscar en
and
Google
indoor lunch
los
recess.
diferentes tipos de
So if
VPN que
students
existen
have
y
work to
pueden ver
do
los
or
diferentes
books to
planes que
read,
tenemos
please
en
bring
línea.
that with
So, es
you.
algo que se
We
puede
will be
pagar
playing a movie, but there
mensualmente
will be
o
no
anualmente.
outside play activity today,
Y
tomorrow,
también
the rest of the week.
y pueden escucharlo.
Indoor lunch recess. Thank you.
Disculpe, solo voy a repetir. Un VPN, hay muchos programas que podemos a descargar de un VPN y podemos descargar un teléfono, un computadora, una tableta y pues nos ayuda a crear un túnel cifrado de la actividad que tenemos en línea. Es muy útil cuando estamos en un red público, como en un hotel, un aeropuerto, una biblioteca, y queremos acceder una página que estamos compartiendo información sensitiva, como si estamos haciendo nuestros impuestos en el irs.com y estamos en un red público. Cualquier persona, si tienen las herramientas, pueden ver la información que estamos compartiendo, pueden ver nuestro número social, los números de nuestras cuentas y muchos más. Si no estamos utilizando un VPN, con un VPN va a cifrar la actividad que tenemos en un red público, así que nadie puede ver las páginas que estamos metiendo y también la información que estamos compartiendo. Hay unos que están también gratuitos, pero hay que tener cuidado con eso porque en lugar de estar pagando con dinero, ustedes están pagando con su información. Esas compañías van a compartir las páginas que les gusta visitar, cuál es información están compartiendo y muchos más a otras compañías. Es mejor pues evitar esos que son gratuitos y comprar su suscripción. Algo más es que también puede cambiar su ubicación. Si, por ejemplo, está en otro país y la película de Netflix no está disponible en ese país, ponemos en Italia, podemos cambiar nuestra localización a Estados Unidos para poder ver esa película. También se puede usar de esa manera, pero es muy útil cuando están pues viajando mucho y se están conectando a los redes públicos que no hay pues seguridad. Okay. ¿Alguna pregunta sobre lo que hablé o el video? Okay. ¿Entendieron lo que es un VPN? Muy bien, ok.